Sports live at Radio Row in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. And I'm really excited to talk about this incredible city with Jay Cicero, who's part of the team that got the Super Bowl here in New Orleans. Jay, good to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us.
Baker, thanks for having me on. This is great to finally have this event here after so long.
So let's talk about this. The 11th time New Orleans has had the Super Bowl. I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of work and process that goes into selecting a host city for the Super Bowl. What does New Orleans do to get this here?
And when this is my fourth Super Bowl to be on the executive team, my third to be the president and CEO of the host committee. So we actually do the bidding and actually do the management of the event. So we go through this all the time, and we bid on other events like men's Final Four, women's Final Fours, obviously Super Bowls, WrestleManias, and other NBA All-Star games. We've managed them all and done them all for the past 30-something years. So we got a lot of experience of doing it. But, getting back to Super Bowl in particular, we work very closely with the New Orleans Saints to put together a bid to the league. We formulate the entire pitch. It's a 15-minute pitch. We may talk for 15 minutes here today.
That's fine. Sure, I'll take the pitch.
But
the same pitch that you gave them.
It's a 15-minute pitch involved with it. Mrs. Benson made the pitch to the owners. The NFL
Saints owners, yeah.
The NFL owners are the ones that make the decision on where a Super Bowl is awarded. So it's peer-to-peer. We did all the production and behind-the-scenes work to get to that point. Of course, you have to go through an arduous process, about a 7 or 8 month process of qualifying for bid. So you have to be able to commit what the bid specifications require to be able to host the Super Bowl in your city. And obviously...
it takes 7 or 8 months of the bidding process to figure this out. You've had 11, and you would think like, okay, we know how to do this, but that's still a long time of like sitting almost in purgatory.
Well, you have to get all the venues together. You have to get all the hotel rooms together.
Right.
And all the other commitments necessary to make the a Super Bowl bid competitive. And so you make the pitch, and when it's awarded, then we, the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation, who I work for full time, that's what I do, and I'm also, again, the president and CEO of the host committee. We sign all the contracts with the NFL, and then we have to go raise all the funds necessary to fulfill all the obligations in the bid. So we're really soup to nuts. And what we promised to do in the bid, we have to fulfill. And then we have to fundraise to pay for that, and then operationally execute everything that's associated with it. It's a big task.
It's a huge task, and also for a city like, let's say, New Orleans, you have a lot of other things culturally happening in the city at the same time. You have New Year's, you have the Sugar Bowl, you've got Mardi Gras, you've got this. Does that make it difficult, especially with scheduling, to make sure that a Super Bowl lines up perfectly with all the other things that are happening just in the city that aren't even related to the Super Bowl?
It absolutely is. So we have to work very closely with the NFL, NCAA, whoever, because we're not available to bid on every year that it may be open because of the conventions that are in town. Other special events, Mardi Gras, the date shifts for Mardi Gras. It's not the same date every year. And so when you take in all those factors, we have to really target a date for New Orleans and go for it, and get everybody together to work on targeting for that date. Hold everything, hold the rooms, and hopefully by the time we get the bid, all that space and all those rooms are still available when we get there. So it is a little tougher process than what people would think or understand. But New Orleans is so popular for conventions and other events, and of course Mardi Gras is unbelievable.
I mean, obviously, being in New Orleans, you feel the history. You get why this is a place that the NFL goes to frequently, 11 times to be exact, for the Super Bowl. But what is it about this city compared to other places like, say, Vegas or Atlanta or others that makes it a unique experience for the Super Bowl to be here?
It's a combination of proximity, everything within walking distance. We have 26,000 rooms hotel rooms within walking distance of the Superdome, the convention center where we are now, the French Quarter. And so when you come out of your hotel here, you're in a big event city, and it's all about Super Bowl this week and last week, frankly. And so, that's part of what makes it special, but it's our culture. We have such a unique culture here and the NFL has really leaned into the culture. So we talk about the history and culture, two things that go very much aligned in New Orleans. And our theme for the host committee has been about history and culture. The NFL has accepted that. They love it. They leaned into hiring Queen Taj, who designed the game logo this year. For the first time, a local artist was involved in the designing of the
and
you
see it throughout the whole city. It's everywhere.
And she's a local bead artist for Mardi Gras. She's incredible.
What a story!
It really is, and we didn't even know about it. So we took the NFL creative staff on a culture tour a couple years ago, and so they gathered all the information. They kind of kept it quiet. We're like, okay, you got everything you need. Well, they worked with Queen Taj, and they showed it to us the day before the Super Bowl last year in Las Vegas. And we're like, wow, we didn't even know, because they made her sign non-disclosure agreements.
Sure.
So we had no idea that was happening. And she did a fantastic job. She's a great representative of New Orleans, and she's got an incredible spirit.
We'll get you out of here on this. I'm assuming it's fair to say there's a 12th bid potentially coming down the road. Does New Orleans envision that Super Bowl returning here in the near future?
We would love that. And obviously we feel like every event that we host is an audition for the next time that we are hosting it, because we've had 6 men's Final Fours here, 11 Super Bowls here. This is my 4th. It's the 8th in the Caesar Superdome. So, that's the record, by the way. Superdome's 50 years old this year, newly renovated, $560 million renovation. So we have so many things going for us that we hope to get this event back sooner than 12 years. We love that.
And I was in the Superdome yesterday, and you can see the improvements with your own eyes. Just you get the vibe of like how exciting this game is going to be coming up on Sunday. Jay, such a pleasure to have you here. Congratulations. Have the best of luck this week with all of the stuff that's happening here in New Orleans. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. We got a lot more interviews live here from Radio Row with Front Office Sports coming up.